Welcome to the Totally Honest Cooking Show. I'm Mark. This week, we're making baked apples, but we're jazzing it up a little bit. Yay. Sparkle. Sure. Okay. So, this is kind of a what's in the fridge episode. I tried to make something yesterday, it exploded, and a lot of things have been going wrong in the last week or so. So, this is my last-ditch effort to put out an episode, because I must put out an episode. So I'm going to start with 5 apples. These are the last of the apples that I picked a couple months ago. Hopefully they're still good. They feel good, but time makes a fool of us all. I'm going to start by coring my apples. Now, we don't want to core them all the way. If we can avoid it, we want to leave a well. But, as I have not figured out how to do that, I'm just going to core through it. Like that. Then I'm going to take my trusty knife, cut off the stump, and plug that apple up. Is it perfect? No. But it'll do. I'm going to do that with the rest of the apples. Okay, at this point we're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And we're going to cut off 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 tablespoons of butter. And half a cup of brown sugar. Plus 2 tablespoons to count for the extra apple. Now you could just cram this in there at a ratio of 2 to 1. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to 1 tablespoon of butter. But I'm going to cream the butter first. I'm using a potato masher. And it's already becoming clear that this was the wrong vessel for this. And that's okay. The masher is just not the right size. So that's fine. Potato masher didn't work. That's fine. I'm just going to use Bernie, my favorite wooden spoon. Anyway, you're going to use the spoon to cream the butter into the mixture. And the idea is to just get it moving, make everybody nice and mixed together. Now to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of cinnamon. If you're feeling bold, throw some nutmeg in there too. Why not? Okay. Now we're going to stuff our apples. Now we're going for 3 tablespoons an apple, but you're probably going to just use as much as will fit in the apple. If you have small apples like these, you could probably use more apples. Like I said, this is kind of a what's in the fridge episode because everything has been kind of nuts lately down here. And rather than slowly lose my mind and cancel the episode, we're just going to work with what we have. Because that's what cooking is, folks. Cooking sometimes is working with what you have. And we're going to fancy it up a little bit, too, at the end. I don't remember what kind of apples these are because I picked 3 different kinds. If you want a guaranteed success, go with like a Granny Smith. Those are your standard baking apples. They cook up a treat. These, I have no idea how they will turn out. They might be mushy. They might not be. Different apples respond to application of heat differently. So your mileage may vary. Use a Granny Smith if you want a guaranteed win. Dash of cinnamon. And then I'm going to stick them in the oven. Now remember, we're going to class this up a little bit. So, over medium heat, I'm pouring about a cup of whiskey into a saucepan. And then I'm taking a cup of craisins. Well, let's say half a cup. Half a cup of craisins. I got my craisins here. I got my whiskey here. I've turned it up to high. I'm going to bring it to a boil. And in about 3 minutes, the whiskey will start to boil because it boils fast. I'm going to cut the heat, and in a move inspired by Binging with Babish, I'm going to pour the whiskey over the craisins. And I'm going to let them soak like that for a little bit. So the front half of this recipe is just a traditional baked apple recipe. The back half of this recipe is kind of inspired by Binging with Babish's holiday yams. Because I had those yams at Thanksgiving. They're delicious and I've got ingredients left. What's in the fridge, y'all? After almost 15 minutes have elapsed, we're going to drain off the whiskey. I'm jarring that up for later. And we're going to let this cool on its own. It'll be tasty later. We don't want to stick it in the fridge just yet because it might explode. Because that's glass. It's been 15 minutes. So it's time to check on our apples. They're easily sliced by a knife on the side, just by giving them a little pokey poke. Anyway, if you like them a little softer than that, you can go ahead and just leave them in for a little longer. And I got a little extra syrup at the bottom, so I'm going to try to make the most of that and give my apple a little topping. This next part is a little bit of a science experiment, okay? So, like I said, things have been on fire lately. I didn't have a chance to go shopping this week. Normally I would serve this with vanilla ice cream, but I don't have any. And I'm not just going to eat an apple by itself. So, we're going to jazz it up. I'm going to, again, keep stealing from Babish's yam recipe, and I'm going to use a couple dollops of ricotta cheese. Jerkins, let me know right here if this is a terrible idea that should have never been done, and I crafted a Lovecraftian nightmare. Then to that, I'm going to add some of my whiskey infused. Then to that, I'm going to add some of my whiskey-infused craisins. Yeah, Jerkins, don't cut that. Just leave it in. That was stupid. And every time I try to mime on this show, it's bad. That's why it's got to be the Totally Honest Cooking Show, because I'm a terrible liar. Then a little sprinkling of walnuts. Then we're busting out my old nemesis, the honey bear. You know what you did, honey bear! And we're giving ourselves a little swirl. Oops. And there we go. You made it out of a cookbook when you were a kid. You made it in The Legend of Zelda. And now you've made it in your kitchen, only slightly fancier. Look at that. I bet it's good. I'm going to go consume this. Like, subscribe, click the little bell. Bye.